and sleep. Welcome to this week's Weekly Radish, and this is the first of a series of 4 that are going to be focused on sleep. It's such an important element of our well-being. It's such a recurring theme at my workshops and my events, is how do I improve the quality of sleep, especially when I'm feeling stressed, because stress and strain disrupts my ability to sleep with ease. So this week I want to sow the seeds for the next 3 weeks, but also get you thinking about your quality of your sleep. Over the next few weeks I'm going to give you a strategy to help you tackle and improve your sleep and raise your sleep quality. So this week I'm going to give you the overall strategy and get you to think about it over the coming week. And then the coming weeks I'm going to break that down into each of the areas and give you 3 tips for each of the 3 areas of the strategy. Because my view is if you make some small but significant changes over the coming weeks to your sleep, you will have an impact on your sleep quality. It's not about transforming you into somebody that can fall asleep like that, but it is about making some small significant changes so that over time your sleep quality will improve. So I want to give you the overview of the strategy. I'll set you away with something to reflect on this week. So the strategy for improving our sleep focuses on 3 key areas. The first step is preparing your sleep environment. Second step is preparing yourself for sleep. And the third is the art of sleeping. So the first area, preparing your sleep environment, it basically does what it says on the tin. Next week we're going to be focusing on this, and it's really about looking at where you're sleeping. And not just the bed or the bedroom, but your lead up to sleep, your easing into the sleep process in the last couple of hours before getting into bed. It's about looking at that environment and seeing how we can make some changes to help you feel like the area that you're starting to unwind and rest and go settle into sleep is conducive to that. It's not jarring, it's not providing distractions or stimulation that counteracting the relaxation process. The second area is preparing yourself for sleep. And this goes hand in hand with the environment, but it is about recognizing that often we don't have the right routines, habits, and mindsets when we settle down to sleep. So it's about what we can do to prepare ourselves for that relaxing and unwinding process and settling into sleep. And the third area is the art of sleeping. It's about looking at what we can do to get better at actual sleep. That sounds a bit strange because you think, well, it doesn't take any skill, but for those of us who've maybe had our sleep robbed by stress, strain, or have suffered from periods of longer term sleep disruption, then it can often feel like you're pretty useless at it, that I'm just no good, I can't do it. And actually, sleep is a pretty primal instinct. We just often get in the way of it ourselves. So it's what we can do to get better at it. And that includes not just during sleep, but during the day, when we manage our own stress and relaxation through the day. So we'll be looking at that in the coming weeks too. So they're the 3 areas. What I want you to do for this week is to have a think about those 3 areas as you go about your day-to-day life and particularly settling into sleep. What is your sleep environment like? Have a look at it and just look for things that may be obvious that now that you're tuning in, you just spot and think, aye, that's not going to work, or that's probably not helping. I'm not going to give you particular tips this week, I'll do that next week, but just see if you can work it out for yourself, because there may well be things that you already know, that you've heard or read about or picked up some other tips, but you've slid back into bad habits or reintroduced something that you've removed from the bedroom in the past. So have a look at your sleep environment. Have a look at what your normal routines are around your sleep, around the hours leading up to sleep and during sleep, the actual settling down for sleep. Have a look at what you do and start to pay attention to the routines and habits, because when I discuss that in the week after next, I will be talking about some of the routines that are helpful. So it's useful for you to know what you already do. And the third one is to look at how good you are at sleep and in particular rest and relaxation. So just pay attention through the day at what you do in terms of breaks that you take. How do you give yourself those mini timeouts, the time to unwind? What do you do if you wake up in the middle of the night? What's your general practice there? Or what do you tend to find yourself doing if you find yourself waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning? So have a reflect on those 3 areas over this week and follow the link if you want an infographic to provide you with a summary and a few brief tips. So I'll see you next week when we dive into the first of those areas and start digging a bit deeper. For now, reflect on them and see what you can come up with yourself. Learn the 6 steps to putting stress in its place by visiting timeouttoolkit.com and claiming your free ebook, Emergency Stress CPR.